Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Tav, and today it's not gonna be me that's teaching all the ways, but it's gonna be none other than Eli. And the reason Eli is on the channel is because I've never seen anyone in South Africa play Loon the way he does. He's simply insane with Loon, and like throughout my 4 years of playing Clash, I've honestly haven't seen a better Loon player in South Africa than Eli. Like you would see, guys, in the replays to come, it's insane. And I know, guys, as much as you would like live videos, as live gameplay, but at the moment I honestly cannot, because my schedule is way too busy, because university work is kind of catching up. But yeah, editing takes way too long, so I cannot do that right now. But holiday times, of course, we can get in some live games from different people, obviously. And please hit me up in the comment section to what y'all would like to see in future, towards different segments, or what y'all enjoy and stuff like that. I'd honestly like to know, and ideas are the best. It's better for improvement. And also, I honestly wanted to say thank you for the 100 subs, guys. I really do appreciate it, and thank you, guys. So today we're gonna be playing this Loon deck. It is super fast. Its cycle is insane, guys. And half of our videos we played with Log, and half of it we played with Bar Barrel. Doesn't matter, it depends on what you're playing a lot, so your spells can change. And yeah, this deck can literally destroy any deck in this game. With correct practice, with a good attacking mindset, you can literally just destroy any deck. And you have an Ice Golem to kite, you have a Musketeer. Ice Golem, Musketeer, kites literally wreck everything. And leave alone that, guys, there's a cage in this deck. That cage just melts every single push, like literally. Because if they have to play a Bandit, Battle Ram, Ghost, or like any bridge spam, or like anything in general, play the cage in the center, and then you're just gonna watch that brawler melt everything. But of course, you gotta pair your brawler with the Ice Golem and Skellies, because if you're just gonna leave it just like that, obviously it's gonna get melted. But if you protect your brawler, damn, it's gonna be insane, because the brawler's DPS is super high. So I'll show you some replays, as if you can see some of the matches, and I will be explaining along the way how to beat different matchups. Obviously, I'm not the best Loon player, neither am I good with Loon, so I'm going to give you all tips on what Eli told me, and of what's on my general knowledge, basically. So in this game, you can see he's playing Hog. Like, it's kind of a fast version of Hog, but it also has Inferno Tower. So according to Eli, you never ever want to play your miner as your first play. You always want to cycle your cheap cards, like your Skeletons, your Bar Barrel or Log, your Ice Golem. Go ahead and doing that. Though you always want to like wait and see what type of deck he's playing, because you don't want to send yourself into a bad cycle. So right here, after defense, Eli goes in with Ice Golem Loon. He basically just wanted to see what he's building, basically, to try and stop his Loon. Because generally the normal version of this deck has Earthquake and Bomb Tower. But for some reason this guy has Inferno Tower and Fireball, and that's insane actually, because it's really hard to win now. But when they have Inferno Tower, any building in fact, you always want to play your miner to distract that Inferno Tower, so that that Loon will go onto that Inferno Tower, destroy the Inferno Tower, and go towards the tower. You don't always, like, it's not always necessary for your Loon to hit the tower, but as long as you keep on getting that death damage, at the end of the game, with clean defenses, you're going to end up winning the game because of the death damage. And also when they have Mask or Dart Goblin, or even against bait, you always want to play your miner on the Dart Goblin when you're going in with a Loon push, never on the Princess. But if it's classic log bait, then I think you have to go with miner onto the Inferno Tower instead of the Princess, because Princess doesn't have high DPS. But of course, if you want to defend, then yes, you can play your miner onto the Princess. It doesn't matter. Over here we can see a really nice play. Can you see, guys? He played the miner onto the Inferno Tower. It chipped the Inferno Tower a little bit. He played a bar barrel in the center so that when the Inferno Tower finishes off the miner, it'll target the the barbarian, instead of the Loon, and then the Loon ends up going, killing off the Inferno Tower, and goes towards the tower with really good HP. If you can see, he did the exact same thing here, and you don't always want to play your miner onto the building always. You always want to switch up the play. When you know they have a Mask or Dart Goblin in their hand with the building, you always want to like try and predict. And especially when they have Hunter, guys. Hunter is really annoying for Loon. So what you want to do against Hunter is you always want to play your miner, not by his tower, but basically by the bridge, so that if he plays his Hunter, your miner's onto the Hunter, then you can literally just snowball that. Your miner kills off the Hunter, and your Loon goes towards the tower, and he has nothing to defend. As you can see, Elai played that really smartly. Here, whenever he attacked, he always put his miner onto his Inferno Tower. He always played a bar barrel towards the center so that the Inferno Tower then gets distracted to... the Inferno Tower always gets distracted to the Barbarian. Your Loon gets enough damage, either dead damage or hits the tower. If it hits the tower, it's literally a bonus. But yeah, kept mixing it up. Easy wins for Elai. That was really nice. At this moment when Elai played ladder, he was actually at top 5k, so obviously all these guys are really decent. So I'm gonna show you all this replay on how to beat E-Golem. Like, guys, you can literally even beat E-Golem with this. Like, that's how insane this deck is. And this E-Golem deck for somewhat reason had Mega Knight, which made things even harder. And he had an E-Wizard on top of that to stop his Loons. And yeah, Elai just played out of his mind in this matchup. So as I said earlier, Elai doesn't like cycling his miner. He prefers playing his other cards. And also, guys, playing Cage in the center is really not a bad play, because most of the times the guys end up waiting it out. Most of the times it just forces out a response, so it's really not a bad play at all. So right here we can see that Elai played Skeletons. Surprisingly, he didn't play Skeletons towards the King Tower for a Mega Knight activation, but that's fine, as if you saw, Skeletons and Bar Barrel did the job in cleaning off the Mega Knight. So this guy also even has Lightning. This guy can literally Lightning Elai's Mask. Or if desperate, he's Loon Push. How bad of a player can you be to lose this matchup? Like, what even, my dude? But that just shows on how insane Elai is. And look at that Goblin Cage placement, guys. That's the placement you always want to use. Like, even against Giant or Goblin Giant, especially against E-Golem, that placement is really key. But as you can see, guys, with good spacing, the Mask on the left, Cage way to the right, so that it gets like maximum distance, so that it also pulls. Now you can only Lightning one, the Mask or the Cage, so that's really good spacing. Well played to Elai. After that defense, he was up on Elixir. He went in with a Loon Push. He knows he only had E-Wizard in hand, because he used his Inferno Dragon in offense, which is insane. Actually, you don't really need to do that against a Loon deck. But if you see, Also, guys, what you want to do in double elixir, you always want to try and cycle back to 2 musketeers. As if you can see there, Elai played his mus first, played his skeletons, played his cage, and bam, he lightninged. But that's a shame because he's back to because Elai is back to another musketeer. That's what you want to do in this Loon deck. You always want to cycle to 2 musketeers because musketeers are really annoying to deal with. And musketeers also have really high DPS and its range is insane. So right here we can see he goes in with more of a beatdown push instead of with E-Golem. But now he goes in with E-Golem. How do we defend this? Easy. Cycle back to 2 cages, cycle back to 2 musketeers. Easy defense. He doesn't know what to lightning. And guys, this is insane, right? After this E-Golem dies, Eli is gonna be in such a huge elixir advantage. Plus he has a brawler going opposite lane. So which side do you defend? And look at this bar barrel, guys. This bar barrel was so amazing. It ends up killing that E-Wizard because he played his E-Wizard high with the snowball, which pushes his E-Wizard towards the bridge. And then as the Loon progresses a little bit more forward, that E-Wizard no more targets the Loon, and bam, that Loon is onto the tower. That's what you want to do, guys. You always want to be, when you're going in with your Loon pushes, you always want to be aggressive with your snowballs. Like literally, even if it means you snowballing the musketeer to the opposite lane when he plays it in the center, or when he plays like an E-Wizard or Mega Minion or even Hunter at the bridge, go for it, guys. It's only 2 elixir, you can cycle. So no biggie in that matchup. Eli played that insane, even though that was a really hard matchup for him. Now I got a replay with Eli playing against Clone, Sparky, Giant Skeleton, and Hunter. Unfortunately, Eli is on the top, but that's fine. But like, I mean, how insane can you be to beat this matchup? Like, what even? So as you can see, he doesn't like playing off his mask. I think now he does play cage or he cycles a bar barrel. I'm not entirely sure. So I don't understand this guy. He literally played a Hunter. And I don't know why Eli didn't go in with the Loon push after he played his Hunter, but that's fine. So right here, okay, the reason why Eli played the Miner there was because he expected the Giant Skeleton to walk back and it will keep the mask alive and continue eating of the Giant Skeleton. So unfortunately it didn't work out, but that's fine, no need to panic. You got a really fast cycling deck and you can literally cycle back to another mask, or you can literally cycle cards to distract the Giant Skeleton. It's easy defense, basically. So right here, I think Eli does play his cage towards the center. When you're playing against Sparky, most guys, the biggest mistake is literally going in with the Loon push opposite lane. Most Sparky players literally just ignores that, goes in hard opposite lane, and then they just 3-crown you. So guys, don't ever do that. Maybe in the double elixir, yes, fine, but in single elixir, never ever do that. So here we see an insane Sparky defense. He clones. Eli literally comes off with the most insane defenses. And guys, see what I meant being always aggressive with that snowball? If he didn't snowball that brawler wasn't going to get 2 hits. But because that snowball was so insane, that brawler got 2 hits, pushed the Hunter back, which meant more hits from the musketeer, and that Hunter basically died towards the tower. So that's insane thinking by Eli. I'm honestly amazed by that. And as if you can see, guys, this guy is cracked. So let's see how Eli deals with a very big clone push. I think over here Eli does let the Sparky hit his tower once so that he can defend the Sparky easier. But let's see. So that was a weird Hunter, I'm not even gonna lie. But unfortunately he cloned. The Hunter ended up hitting the barbarian, and that's just really unfortunate that Elai missed his snowball onto the Sparky because that clone Sparky literally pushed the normal Sparky towards the tower, gets a hit on the tower. But look at what I meant, guys, by playing your miner onto his hunter. Did you just see that, guys? Miner, snowball, kills off the hunter. Your Loon lives, is going towards the tower. He cannot defend because he just used his best card to deal off with Loon. And yeah, that's literally GG's, and that's what you want to do when you're playing against Hunter. So now, playing against a weird version of Picker Spam. Guys, Picker Spam is really easy. He only has E-Wizard and Magic Archer. And those cards literally does nothing against the Loon. And this deck is so fast cycling that you can always play your Cage for his Brawlers, and you have Skeletons for his Bandit, you have your Musketeer Ice Golem to kite the P.E.K.K.A. If you go in with a Loon, if you predict his E-Wizard with your Miner, Snowball, that E-Wizard is dead, he doesn't have enough DPS for air, that's literally tower. It's insane, guys. Y'all can literally win this game with ease. Right here, this guy played Picker Spam really weirdly. And I was actually on call with Eli. He said that he had to let that Dark Prince hit the tower so that he can end up kiting that P.E.K.K.A. in peace. And unfortunately, the Mask didn't target the P.E.K.K.A. Hence, he played the Skeletons to pull it towards the right so that the Musketeer starts eating his P.E.K.K.A. Now, guys, did you see that Goblin Cage? It ended up pulling the P.E.K.K.A. back towards the middle, and it ended up pulling the Battle Ram. And did you see, guys? The Brawler just cleaned off everything, and it got 2 hits on the tower, took the tower, and yeah, that is insane defense just with a Goblin Cage. It's insane, guys. Literally. And did you see when Eli went in with the Loon push? He didn't have high DPS for air, so you can literally do easy damage onto the tower. So this guy literally leaked. I don't know what he's doing. Against Picker Spam, don't be shy to go in with Loon. As you can see, he went in. Eli played his Miner onto the E-Wizard, played it in a Barbarian Battle. Unfortunately, that everything was 1 HP right here, but easy snowball, easy value, everything's dead. Cage literally just cleans up. It's literally insane. Like, look at that, guys. That was basically a 4 elixir push. I'm not counting in the Bandit and E-Wizard because it was basically dead. But an 8 elixir push defended by Cage. That's insane. Literally. So right here we can see Eli went in with a defensive Miner because there's literally no need. You got 1 tower. You don't have to be super aggressive. No need to be so aggressive. And yeah, easy defense. Miner still lives. I think Eli does go in with the Loon push now. And yeah, I think he gives up. Yeah, he gives up, takes the second tower. GG's Eli. Nicely played. So now Graveyard is a really hard matchup, but the Barbhard version is not hard. But because this guy had E-Wizard, Musketeer, and Baby Dragon, it's really hard. And guys, Graveyard with Nado is also really impossible. But like, if you outcycle the guy, or if he messes up his Nado, you literally can win at that moment. So yeah, that guy played a Knight at the back. Eli was alright, chilled. We play a Miner in defense. That was Eli and I were laughing about this, but that was the worst barbarian battle I've ever seen. That Mask is literally in the center of the field, but he completely missed the Mask. Man, you're bad. Generally, when guys play a low Barbhard like that, or even Barbhard in general, you always want to go in with Miner Loon opposite lane. Even if you don't have Miner, go in Ice Golem. Always go in with Loon. You're gonna get 2 hits. Sometimes you might even take the tower like this. This guy played a really bad E-Wizard onto Eli's Miner. Then Miner ended up chipping that E-Wizard. That E-Wizard ended up dying because I think Elai played a snowball onto it. Then that Loon ends up living. He has nothing to deal with it. GG's. And here, look at that insane block, guys, with the cage. That graveyard did nothing. Now you're already one tower up. You just gotta deal with these graveyards. Unfortunately, I really do not understand how the graveyard did so much of damage there, because you literally had a mask and a tower targeting the graveyard, but still it did so much of damage. And that RNG by this guy was insane. So right here we see that Elai is down an elixir, but that doesn't really matter. You can just, like, when you feel as if he's going in with graveyard, you can always block. If you see here, Elai plays a balloon to try and get rid of that barb heart as quickly as possible, because barbarians are really annoying. And he played an amazing musketeer here to snipe his musketeer. So his musketeer basically dies now, and there's like no high DPS anymore. So this guy plays in a barbarian barrel to kill off the mask. Elai did predict it with his miner, but he was a second too late, but that doesn't matter because his master lives. It literally cleaned off his entire push. Right here we see he goes in with another block, and another block, and another block, and it's never crossing the bridge. So that graveyard does nothing. Elai cycles back to 2 musketeers, and GG's. That's how you beat graveyard, guys. Against Nado, you always want to try and cycle, or even if you play your miner at the back, let him do a King Tower activation so that when you play in your Loon, he doesn't have Nado to pull off your Loon. So he either has to commit so much of elixir on defense, or you're gonna get a hit. It's one of those things. So right here we got a replay against this weird Lumberjack Loon deck. And Elai, it was a close game. I think it was close game at the end because Elai was literally BMing. At the end, you'll see it was really comfortable. And yeah, I played on 2 times. Always cycle your cheap cards. So you see an E-Dragon, you always think like, okay, fine, E-Golem. But then you see a Valk and you're like, okay, what is this weird deck? If you see, Elai played an amazing snowball to protect his mask. And did you see, guys, when your miners are always like that. You always want your miner like that. Not always, it's nice to mix up your placements, but that was an amazing miner because like that targeted the Lumberjack. He predicted Skami onto his miner, which the miner didn't end up going there, so that was an easy log. As you see here, Elai played Ice Golem hoping he could bait out an Electro Dragon, but he didn't. So he just went in with Loon in the same lane. Remember, that damage is also really good, but here he got in a Loon hit. The guy had Fireball. I don't understand why he didn't Fireball, but that worked out. And here we can see we don't pull off the Loon with Cage, but guys, look, even a Rage Loon, Musk and Snowball ends up killing it, and he only gets that damage. He's a tower down, that damage doesn't help at all. So from here, it's really comfortable for Elai. Instant GG's, but we put this game onto 2 times. Oops, it's 2 times. Let's go back into 1 times. He plays an E-Dragon opposite lane. Elai wants to cycle back to another Musketeer because he might go in with Loon, in which he does. So here, Elai plays in a Cage, plays in a Mask, plays a Snowball, Loon dies. But unfortunately, he played Fireball Zap, so he just takes in 1 hit only, and that's fine. You literally tower down. That tower of yours, while Elai's tower on the right was healthy. As you can see, Elai went here for the BMs. And at the end, guys, that BM actually helped. Because Elai thought he won. See, he even messed it up here. Okay, he didn't mess it up, but look at this, guys. His King Tower helps him. And the Loon doesn't even get a connection. So that BM actually worked for some odd reason. But as you can see, guys, this deck is really fun, but I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard to use. Like, In 2 times, you always want to be cycling to 2 musketeers when in defense, especially against beat down decks. You always want to try and cycle to 2 musketeers. Against hog riders, you always want to save in your cage. Against P.E.K.K.A, easy matchup, guys. And against 2.6, you always want to be putting your your miner onto his mask. Try and predict where he's gonna play his mask. If you predict it right, literally go in with a snowball immediately. In 2 times, you can go in with the snowball without waiting. Doesn't matter. The reason why you're going in with the snowball is because it ends up killing the mask at the end of the day, and you get in Loon hits. Against Hunter, guys, you want to go in with your miner there by the bridge so that the Hunter ends up targeting the miner, and then you can go in with snowball. If the Hunter perhaps kills off your miner in an unfortunate way, you can literally snowball his Hunter away from the Loon, so the Hunter's high DPS literally doesn't do anything because it's nowhere near close range. Your Loon ends up getting good dead damage, or it might even get a hit if you're lucky. Against Grave, you always want to go in with good bridge blocks, playing a mask and defense against the Grave. You always want to save your log for that graveyard, because like towards the middle of the graveyard, I'd say 5 seconds in, you always want to go in with log to kill off the skeletons, and then you can play your skeletons to kill off the remaining of his skeletons, and even go in with another ice golem. It's just, you can defend his graveyard really easily if you go in with a bridge block. If you do not block, it's really difficult to deal off with his push and the graveyard. And remember, he has poison, so he can literally poison, so you can't do anything with your skeletons. He poisons your mask ends up dying, and yeah. Guys, against graveyard, you also want to try and cycle back to another Loon push after he defends. Like literally, you can go in with a Loon, Ice Golem, Miner, Skeletons. Wait for him to defend that. You back to another Loon push. You can literally go in again. It's easy, guys. Against Golem, you want to try and space off your cage and mask and try and cycle back to 2 musketeers. Always use your snowballs in the most effective ways, and do not let those bats kill your mask. Literally, guys. Otherwise, it's GG's. Against Sparky, in 1 time, you don't ever want to go opposite lane with your Loon push. You always want to go in with the Loon push and double elixir. In single elixir, you always want to defend with your cage. Then you want to try and play in your skeletons or even your ice golem to get off the Sparky hit. You can go in with mine on defense. You can go with surrounding skeletons. You just buy yourself enough time to kill off the goblin giant with your cage and musketeer, and then after that goblin giant is dead, everything's going to target the Sparky. It's easy defenses. In double elixir, if you go Sparky at the back, you can now go in with Miner Loon. Try and put your miner onto his E-Wizard or his musketeer. Try and predict those, because if you do get amazing predictions, it's literally easy wins for you. Then you can easily defend off his Sparky Goblin Giant push, because you can cycle back to 2 cages, or you can cycle back to 2 musketeers, depending on the situation and what cards he has in hand. And yeah. And guys, if your tower is healthy, do not over defend the Sparky. Let the Sparky get in 1 hit and then play your miner, so that the Sparky, but play your miner at correct timing, that after it hits, it doesn't target your tower again. Continue doing that. But only let the Sparky hit if your tower is healthy, right? Please, guys. Otherwise, you're just going to lose your tower, and it's really hard for you to win if it's in a tower trade game. And yeah, guys, that's all I can remember. But I'm pretty sure Elai will be back onto the channel again later on in life. Hopefully, reverse other matchups. I'll be back in with more tips. And guys, in future videos, I am also going to have P.E.K.K.A spam. I'm going to have RG, obviously by Liam, and P.E.K.K.A spam, obviously by PT. And Corey is also coming up. I'm not entirely sure what he wants to play. I did ask him to play Lava, but Lava right now in this meta is really bad. And not only he said that, but other pros said so. So guys, getting lava is gonna be really difficult, but Corey is gonna try nevertheless because he's literally SA's best. No denying in that. But even if he doesn't, his gameplays are still worth it, and we'll see what their key offers us. And yeah, guys, enjoy your day. Happy clashing. GG's Eli. You're literally insane, bro.